Welcome to Bledsoe Said So. This is going to be an amazingly deep dive, epic, esoteric anime episode. We're going to talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion. We're going to get into that later, but we're going to talk about our friend Raven.
Hello. Raven's here.
I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Hi, Raven.
Evangelion.
Evangelion the melon.
Roll through it.
Slipping
Let's
a
go.
tongue, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we brought our best little buddy Raven here.
Buddy.
We've talked about him so many
He's
times.
like our
on
house
the show.
cat.
Huh?
He's like our house cat.
We've talked about him so many times on the show. This is my birthday twin.
We were born.
We gotta
Yes, literally.
wait, ready?
Literally.
We gotta let we're about to let the world
Okay,
know.
we got
Is it
on
the
three.
same day?
No, we can't say our social security.
No. I'm just saying the thing we always say to everybody. They got to know now.
Oh,
you know
okay,
what I'm saying?
okay, yeah.
I feel like I'm talking too loud now.
3,
But
No, you're not.
1. We got the same birthday, y'all.
Oh,
it's
it's
for
true.
real. We
Isn't
have-
it like the same day?
yeah, like,
same year?
like a couple hours apart.
Same year.
Same hospital.
Wow.
Like
So we were
I'm older.
Are you really?
Yeah,
by like
What?
2 hours.
Yeah, like 2
I
hours.
would have never guessed
By
that.
like 2
I
hours.
know,
Your
it sounds
social
so
security
youthful.
numbers one off, one apart?
Like two off.
It's
but
Wow.
1 digit apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all figure that one out yourselves.
Well, they're born a couple hours apart in the same hospital. Like,
Okay,
it makes sense.
So how old were you and I when we met? We were in Mr.
I think I was like a freshman in high school, but
Yeah.
so I was. I don't know. I can't age like that.
Wait, question. Did we meet in computer class? Or,
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was like you were listening to Kill Switch Engage or something like, oh, you like Kill Switch Engage too?
Yeah, which is literally how me and Ryan became
It was
friends.
brings people together.
So it was probably, I don't know if it was Kill Switch. It was metal music, but I'm like 95%
was
sure it
probably
was Kill
Kill
Switch
Switch.
Engage.
It was
Yeah.
probably
Because that
Kill
was
Switch.
like that was the hot band at
So
that
we
time.
were
you
like,
know?
what, 14, 15,
yeah,
something
14,
like that?
15.
Yeah, so we had computer class together, and then I think the next year or maybe the next like semester or something when the classes change, we had a math class together.
Yeah, it was pre-algebra with what I can't remember.
Mr. Constantine.
Mr. Constantine.
Yeah, Mr. Constantine.
I love Mr.
Might have to bleep that, but
Yeah,
maybe
Mr. Boyman.
not. Mr.
That's his
Boy,
name. Yeah.
Mr.
No,
Boyman.
he was great. He was great.
Oh, he didn't like me. That's
Really?
okay, though.
I loved him, bro.
Well, like Nick helped me cheat on a lot of tests, redacted, but
I did
Anyway.
definitely help him cheat
oh my
on
gosh,
some tests.
so much.
Damn.
Which is hilarious because math was my worst
Oh, dude,
subject.
same.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I was like, this guy's gonna help me. You know,
Yeah.
I'll put all my faith in you.
So it was that class.
So y'all
we
were
had-
criminals.
Oh,
Yeah, always. They
criminals.
say we was farming nukes on Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
We did
We did
lots
a lot of bad stuff.
delinquent stuff. But it wasn't until that class that we had the realization we have the same birthday. Like,
Yeah.
one of us was like, "Oh, my birthday." I don't even remember.
Look, my birthday's this summer.
Yeah,
I do.
Yes, literally. It
Basically,
was
when's your birthday? Oh, June 15th.
like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then we found out it was the exact same day.
Same
and
year.
then we found out it was the same hospital.
Man.
And it's like the wildest synchronicity. So we're the Wonder Twins. That's
Yep.
we always have like joint birthday parties
Oh my
and
gosh.
like and everything. So
Good base.
this is my Wonder Twin. But Ryan, I think you
I've
have known Raven longer.
Yes.
A little bit. Yeah. So when I was in 9th grade and 10th grade, I was in the RTC. You know?
Oh right, I forgot about
He
that.
was in Call of Duty school.
I was in Call of Duty's camp.
Yeah.
Boot camp.
Junior Call of Duty
But
school.
so 9th grade, your sister is my age. She's in the same
yeah,
grade as
you
me.
guys had like the same. Like we moved here.
Shout out Chastity.
Yeah,
Shout out
shout out
Chastity.
Chastity and Victor, her husband.
And
He's
Victor.
a cool
Yeah.
fella.
Love you guys.
And
Love you
Chastity
guys.
was in many of my classes in
Yeah,
9th grade.
yeah.
Like several of them. And we just hit it
That's
off.
how I met you first. She brought you. You came to my place to like help with a
Not
project.
quite.
What's that? I
I'm
can
gonna tell
always
you.
get that
I'm
before
gonna tell
or
you, young
after
child.
mixed up.
I'm gonna tell you.
Bro,
He
you're
always
like 2 years
he always
older than
forgets
me.
how we met because he was younger. He was in middle school.
Oh,
And he just
Oh.
blanked it out of his brain.
He was a little lad,
But
young, dumb, and
so Chastity was in my
that's it.
classes. We got to be really good friends. And you know that whole story, but they don't know, where I was at lunch with Chastity freshman year, and I was still new to Grace Creek. I'd only been there since the 7th grade and didn't really have any good friends other than like Nick on the bus and some like Alex Hodge.
Yeah.
Just a few people. And 9th grade, I started meeting all these new people, and Chast was just super sweet, super nice.
She's the best.
She's just
So
like
nice.
she's a lot like my sister in her very like calm mannerisms, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
very
Chastity's-
gentle approach, and
I can see
she was
that.
just super nice to me, and I was this awkward kid, and she was like,
Like-
"What's your name?" And I said, "Melvin."
Yeah.
Oh, that's why she calls you Mel.
That's why she
Yeah.
calls me Mel since the 9th grade.
Why did you say Melvin?
I don't know. I was just a shy kid, and I thought it'd be funny. I was trolling her,
Melvin.
and
It's stuck.
I literally was like, "No, I'm just playing." And she's like, "No, you're Melvin." And to this day, almost 30 years old, you know, every time we cross paths, she still calls me Mel.
Literally.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And for a while, Raven did. So anyway, so the next year,
That's because that's how you introduced yourself to me.
yes,
oh, you did?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Like, oh, Mel.
'Cause it stuck with
What?
Chastity.
Okay, we got to start calling Ryan Mel.
It stuck with Chastity in our little friend group in the 9th grade.
Absolutely.
And actually that year, so I was in RTC, I went to the middle school to do like a mentorship program for the 8th grade. Y'all were taking like, or you were actually,
I was in the 7th grade.
are you a grade below Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I always thought you were younger.
Uh-huh.
So I went to, you were in the
Because I
7th
got
grade.
held back.
Oh, for real? Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, I was a little goblin in elementary school, dude.
Well, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, no, seriously,
Oh,
I always thought you were younger because you were a grade below. I didn't
Right.
know you were born the same year. That's why I was
Yeah,
like,
no. It's like, yeah, I got held back in 1st grade for being a little goblin boy. But
A
Yo,
goblin?
hey, I've got friends.
ADHD runs in the family, dog.
I'm not gonna say who they are, and you know who they are. I have friends that are twins, and one of them got held back in the 1st grade, so the mom held the other one back.
Oh my god.
No
That's
way.
hilarious.
I didn't know that.
And y'all know them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 9th grade, I went to middle school, and I was coincidentally assigned to your table
Yep.
to like moderate y'all's little EOG study.
Yeah, I thought you were like helping me with math. I feel like was what it was.
It's something like that.
You
It
were
was-
his mentor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, I remember coming out. I was like, that guy was cool. You know.
That guy Mel was pretty cool.
It was
Yeah, Mel
literally
was-
like an
Mel was a nice
RTC
fella.
field trip thing. Like for that class period, we got in a school bus. What did you say?
He said, we're going to help out the young.
I don't have my headphones on, so I can't hear your.
It's good.
Yeah, so we went to the middle school, and I literally hung out with Raven for like an hour and a half, and I just thought like, this kid is funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, even back then. And then it was the next year in the 10th grade, Chastity and I were in English together, and I was coming over to your house for a while to do projects.
Yeah,
and
that's what it. Yeah,
yeah, and then it just spiraled, and we've all just had this crazy friend group ever
been
since.
homies for a minute.
I cannot believe that you were his mentor.
Dude, we didn't even talk about how also the three of us rode the same bus by the time we were all in high school.
Right.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
Yeah.
I always forget about that.
It just.
It's because like most of the time it was like Nathan and I torturing this one kid because we were like bullies in 7th grade.
What? I mean, dude.
Yo, he was at the table, and I honestly felt bad for that kid.
Yeah, okay,
What
so-
kid? Well, don't
Oh,
say
yeah,
it.
no,
Don't
no,
say
no,
it.
I'll tell you
Not
later.
now. Not
Yeah,
now.
like, no, but
Yeah.
I mean, this kid was like, I'm a vampire, so he kind of deserved it. But
Deserved it.
Poor kid, man. He was. I
I
remember.
hope
him-
he's doing good. 'Cause
I mean, I don't want to. He was saying
Good
he was
luck,
a
buddy.
wizard.
He was saying he's a
yeah, he was a
saying it-
wizard or a
yeah,
vampire.
he-
No, I said I was a vampire. That's what it was.
He definitely wasn't all there. I felt sorry for the kid.
I realize now. I'm gonna get canceled for this.
I'm having a hard time moving past the Melvin thing.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude.
Yo,
it's-
this is no BS
This
either.
is Mel.
Like to this day, every time I see Chastity around Ryan,
It's
they
Mel.
see each other and she says, "Hey Mel."
Like, hey, Mel.
Every single time. I don't know if I've ever like seen her call you Ryan.
Welcome
Few
to Mel
times.
Said So.
Mel says so.
a few times.
Oh boy.
A few
That's-
times she's ever called me
That's
Ryan.
so insane.
Yeah, so that's it. It was like it was definitely fate. I mean, it was like, you know, coincidentally being assigned to your group out of the 30 other groups of kids that day,
Yeah.
and then riding the bus, and y'all having the birthday. I mean, it was obviously meant to be that we would all be friends.
I don't know. Does it like technically count that I know Nick longer because we were probably like right next to each other in those little baby incubators?
That's true. That's true.
That's like Kakarot and Broly.
Yes, bro. I mean, honestly, that we were probably in the same
We
room.
were neighbors,
Probably.
I'm not even
Honestly.
and they
Like-
were roommates.
like
Yo, y'all might have been
that
switched.
guy Alex.
Y'all might have been switched.
We say that all the time.
We say that all the
Like
time.
I was just like joke around, be like, "Hey, how you doing, Raven?" You know?
Yeah. And Warren, shout out Warren.
Oh
He's
my
been
gosh,
on.
yeah,
He's been on the
Warren.
show every single
Every year without fail.
on our birthday. He goes on Raven's Facebook and says "Happy Birthday, Nick," and he goes on my Facebook and says "Happy Birthday, Raven."
Is
That's funny, man.
every year, man.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
great.
so before we get into Evangelion, we'll move into that. But I did want to ask you, like, how did you first hear about like all the phenomenon stuff? Because we never talked about it in high school.
I don't know if like that memory is just like out of my brain, but I have like this inkling of a feeling that I think Nick just told me one day. Like, you know about Ryan's dad, right? I'm like, no, what happened? And then it's just like hooked me in, man.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's insane. You know, that's cool.
I feel like I do remember it being like that. I think after Jeremy dropped the bomb on me that one time.
It's just like something you gotta tell someone else. You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
No, I mean, we never talked about it in high school.
No,
or
I
anything.
like told some friends about that like recently. I was like, oh, so yeah, shout out Alyssa, Trevor, and Martone. I was telling them about coming on here. You know,
that's awesome.
Nice.
You told them about it?
Yeah, and I told like Trevor was like, I told him about your dad. I was like, yeah, just look up Chris Bledsoe on like Google. He's like immediately pulled out his phone, just started looking stuff up, man.
That's funny. It's funny, man, because you've been to my house like 150 times,
right?
But we purposefully hid this from people that came to our
I
house.
was like in the dark about it until after, and like that one time I got to talk to your dad about it. That was a cool conversation, but you know,
when was that?
I don't even remember.
Was that at their house?
Yeah, it was just at their house.
Oh,
I was
nice.
like, so like what are they to you? You know, it's like just asking them all.
You asked him, what are they?
He just told me, man. It was pretty cool.
That's sick.
So, and then the other question I wanted to ask you before we get into Evangelion, which is going to be so deep, dude, that I'm still processing that. We watched the fourth movie last night, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought there was monsters on the world for 50 seconds. I'm
At
like
least
that.
I don't have to go to work tomorrow.
But seriously, so I know that recently you've seen a few orbs. I just was wondering if you'd be willing to share, like,
it's just like, be like, you know, driving home from work or just like stepping outside, you know, from work, needing a break. I'd see something like orange and glowing, kind of just like hovering around in the background. As soon as I like pull out my phone to like take a picture, it's gone. And then there's this one time my cat Pedro, shout out Pedro.
I love that boy.
18 years young, he going good. But yeah, he got out one time and he was missing for like a week. And like weirdly enough, one night Ryan just called me to check up on me, see how I was doing. I was like, man, I'm doing good. I'm like, you know, no luck, but like my sister had been sitting on the back porch waiting, you know, to see if he would just come home or something. And like we're talking, and then I just see another one like kind of up at like almost like a little bit above the buildings of our apartments, you know. And I'm just like, look, and she's like, what is that? It's like that's an orb. I don't know what to tell you, but like, dude, it's real, right? You know?
Yeah.
Wasn't there also a thing where she was like wondering if it was a satellite and then it disappeared?
Yeah. She was like, "Is that like she was like, this got to be like a satellite or a plane." I was like, "I don't think so." It just disappeared. Like,
yeah.
Just,
like,
gone.
come on, bro.
That's how they work, bro.
Yeah, and she was just like in shock after that. You know, still brings it up every now and then when we're talking.
Have you contemplated the fact that that was a conscious entity that was aware of you and exactly when you would see it at that moment with your sister?
Oh. Absolutely.
Like, have you processed that? Like,
yeah,
that was...
you know, it's because it's crazy because it felt like it was like I took it as like a good omen. And like 3 hours later, like midnight, I was just walking around my apartment complex with a flashlight and I found him in a storm drain. Pedro.
Your cat.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, you know.
We had been looking for Pedro for like a week.
It was like literally a week.
And then the night he sees an orb, a couple hours later, we found him.
Come on now.
This dude, and Nathan, shout out Nathan.
Yep, shout out Nathan.
Crawled into a sewer duct and like were
pulled
covered
him out
in mud and probably bodily fluids and who knows what else.
Yeah, it was. I gotta get my boy out though. You know, he was scared. He was not moving, dude.
He was scared. Yeah. But we found hours after seeing an orb.
Yeah.
Hours. Come on, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
no
weird. That's no coincidence. Absolutely no coincidence.
I'm excited to get into Evangelion now because I wasn't really saying this last night while we were watching the movie because I wanted to save it for the episode. But a lot of the themes and some of the like morals of the movie really resonated with me about like the conditions to see the phenomenon.
Oh, in what way? What?
Like
explain?
Well, maybe. I mean, we do probably need to like lay down a base of a preface.
I'll answer your question, and then we'll start a base of a preference, whatever.
Evangelion.
Evangelion. Yeah, it's that dyslexic brain sometimes. I forget, you know. But
it'd be like that.
It was just like, you know, just to give a little tease. It was the whole in the fourth movie. It was about the Ava Unit 1 and the Ava Unit 13, but it was like showing the symbology behind the number 1 and the number 13. Hope and despair. The moral of the story is like he had witnessed such profound trauma that on the other side of the trauma, he was awakened enough to understand compassion. And like, that's the thing with the phenomenon. Like, thousands of people have reached out to us, and every one of them that see things usually are traumatized.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like sometimes the soul comes here, as weird as this is going to sound out of context, that trauma happens for the specific reason of like awakening us. And the movie was just reminding me of that.
No, I feel that there's a lot of things about Evangelion as like a story that have a lot of parallels with the phenomenon, for sure. And that's like one of the coolest things about it. So, okay, to preface, Raven, I think you were pretty instrumental in like getting me like really into anime.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like really into it. Like when I was a kid, I watched a couple things. Like I watched like Dragon Ball Z and
Naruto.
Yeah,
The
I
shonen basics.
exactly.
Pokemon.
Yes, Pokemon. I had been watching Naruto a couple years, and then I meet Raven when we're like 14, and Raven is what word would you describe? Would you say weeaboo? Would you say
I think that's kind of
like
like
a
not
cultured
anime?
fair.
A what?
A cultured nerd.
Cultured nerd. I like that.
To me,
I like
weeaboo is like a negative.
It's a
slight,
derogatory
but he's
thing.
not a
It's-
negative version of it.
It can be, but some people like wear it as a badge. of
I
honor.
use it as an insult to other anime.
Yeah.
Fucking weeb.
I think more like
my heart's in the right
more
place.
like a connoisseur.
That's
There
it.
you go.
You're a connoisseur of really like most things like Japanese culture. Like you're just into it.
It'd be like that.
So he started showing me like some really left field stuff, some wild stuff. I mean, you showed me Evangelion pretty early on.
Yeah.
But like, so we're talking about this show. It's called Neon Genesis Evangelion. This
It's from
is
the 90s.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
from the 90s. This is one
One of the most popular like 90s giant robot anime.
yeah. And it's one of
I
your
don't know,
It's
bro.
all-time
Gundam?
favorites.
definitely in my. It's like probably
Gundam?
like, Gundam was popular for what? Yeah, I mean I don't know. I've
It's
never
hard
really
to
watched
say.
Gundam, but like
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
Gundam's got
either.
the whole market of like action figures. But that's what that anime
Right.
was made to do, was sell action figures.
It's like Transformers. It's
Yeah.
like the Japanese like
I
equivalent
mean,
to
that's
Transformers.
GoBots, but you know.
Oh, yeah,
no,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no semantics for this.
Yeah. True that. But yeah,
But-
that's one of your faves.
Yeah, it's like probably number 2 on my list.
Number two?
Number 1's Fully Cooley.
Yeah.
That one shocked me because I thought you would say Naruto.
I don't know. I've grown. It's 4, I guess.
Number 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Wh-
3. One Piece took that place.
Hey!
Yeah,
Yeah,
boy.
Yeah, man.
But
One
yeah,
Piece took over.
the base that I want to lay down for this show, because this is
Oh wait, Berserk.
Oh yeah,
Berserk.
That's in
We're
top
not
5.
talking
You're
about
heavy with
Berserk.
Berserk.
Yeah.
That's in top 5.
I mean,
for
that's
you.
more for the manga though. But like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Well, it's all
the
that
movies
counts.
are great. I like the movies.
So
Anyways,
Evangelion is a very complex show. It's very dark. It's very deep. But most of all, and the reason that we're so interested in it to talk about it today, is it is deeply, deeply occult and spiritual, and it's all about consciousness. So it's funny because like the base of the show, the guys, is that it's like this like giant robot anime.
yeah, it's like aliens are attacking Earth called angels, and it's like, oh, let me get my 14-year-old son to pilot this giant robot.
Yeah, literally.
Like, oh, cool.
Yeah. At the beginning of Evangelion, it seems it doesn't seem that complex. It seems pretty simple. They're like, okay, the Earth's being attacked by a giant alien. They're calling it an angel. And for some reason, they need these 14-year-old kids to pilot these giant mechs and fight the angels. That's like the
That's
basic.
the surface level.
Right.
Yeah.
You kind of and by the way, the whole time, even from the jump, like the very beginning of Evangelion, it is dripping with religious occult symbolism.
Yes.
Dripping.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So the name of the facility that makes these giant robots that fights these angels is called Nerve.
Yep.
What's the slogan?
The slogan is "God's in His heaven, all's right with the world."
God's in his. So from jump, they're giving you some nuggets of like, they're talking about God.
Well, dude, like one
They're,
of the
they're
very
kind of like trying to be like, let mankind take the wheel, kind of thing, you know?
Yes.
in the very first scene when Misato picks up Shinji in the blue car to take him to Nerve, the license plate was 333.
I never noticed that.
Everything throughout the whole movies, the license plates, the buildings in the back, the signs on the train, it's all 33, 31, 13, 113, because the movies are angel numbers.
Yeah.
Constant 33s, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, like quite literally from top to bottom, it's dripping with occult stuff. Even the titles of the movies are angel numbers.
Literally.
Like the first movie is called Evangelion 1.11.
You cannot.
And 2.22.
Yeah.
3.33.
Or no, you are not alone. I can't remember.
Something like that. Yeah. They have weird titles, but they're all angel numbers.
Yeah.
So like
literally.
Before
it's crazy. Actually, they're originally like 1.0, 2.0, and then they made like an extended version. That's where you get the 1.11, 2.22.
Bro, them
it's
angel
extra
numbers.
Scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're angel numbers.
Either way, that's what they did, and they made it like.
So even before you turn the movie on, you're like, angel numbers, like
everywhere.
And then you see them, boom, they're fighting an angel, and these angels, like when they attack, their energy manifests in the form of like crosses of light.
Yeah.
Yep.
So even before it starts giving you the deep info, it's like it's subliminally showing you.
Yeah, every explosion is like cross-shaped, basically.
Yes.
Even the dialogue, it's like they slip symbolism into the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the first movie, it was talking about these kids being part of Project Marduk, right?
Yep.
You know what Marduk is? That's the Sumerian, like Christ-like archetype.
What?
It's the son of Enki, the big god of Sumerian tablets.
Okay.
All the little descriptions of facilities and places. It was all Greek mythology, Sumerian, or biblical names and references and symbols.
Like Nerve HQ's like main supercomputer is called the Magi system, and all three supercomputers are the names of the Magi from the Bible.
Oh my god!
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, Nebuchadnezzar.
Yep.
No. What are their names?
I think I had it.
I forget. But anyway, they're named after the three Magi from the North Star, the Star of David. Is it? No, not the Star.
The Star of David.
Oh
no,
yeah.
The Star of Bethlehem.
Star of Bethlehem.
I don't know why.
So it's Melchior, Balthazar, and Caspar. Like that's the name of the supercomputers. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
I probably mispronounced those real bad, but
oh no. Do you find that out in the first movie?
No.
How did you find that out in like the 90s anime?
Oh,
like,
for real?
Literally, it'll just be like, here's the supercomputer, and then it like they all have like little labels with their names on it.
Oh, yeah. So that's kind of an important thing to say. If anybody out there's planning on watching, which I think we can highly recommend.
I would
it.
definitely recommend it if you like anime or just
deep occult stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, but so they originally it came out in the 90s and it was an anime, like a normal episodic anime.
Yep.
But then in like the 2000s, like the 2010s,
2007 is when the first one came out. Yeah.
And they remade the series into movies, which in my opinion, and everybody has their own opinion about it. In my opinion, these movies are a lot more palatable than watching an entire series. And I think they also
the series is a little more psychological and like kind of like a slow burn, but like it's cooler. It dives deeper into the mindset of the characters, but like
which is also cool.
But the movie's just like bam, bam, bam. Here we go.
Yeah,
like
it's straight to the point.
Here's all the sauce.
Yeah. Here's all the sauce. Yeah. So
it's great.
So really, the first one wraps up. It's like. Not a lot of like crazy mystical, stuff happens.
No,
I mean, not anything too
like
wild.
Literally the craziest thing that happens. They're like, here's the first angel. Its name is Lilith, or it's the second angel.
Yeah.
It was the text and the dialogue that was mystical in the first movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like the things that were happening overtly, like the fourth movie.
The fourth movie just dunks your head in.
My God,
straight into it.
I can't wait to
talk
about that one.
Just some of the stuff I wrote down from the first movie. In the very beginning, it's like info dumping you. It says angels ate from the tree of life, humans ate from the tree of knowledge.
Yep.
And it's like it's the biblical like Genesis flood story, why God flooded the world, and reset. It's like the humans were becoming as God, Yeah. The whole Tower of Babel, they were trying to reach the heavens. That's the whole thing about Evangelion.
Yeah, literally. I mean that's what's playing out in front of you during the movies.
What I love about these movies, it took me till the fourth one to finally click, like, oh, this is what it's like. You notice when they're facing these like reality breaking supernatural threats, and they're using technology, right?
Yeah.
But like again, think the phenomenon. The technology is like blended with the supernatural,
Yes.
right? Like the body of the vessel is an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Orbs.
all the
That's what you have-
Evangelion are like just shared DNA of the angels.
Bro,
like
this is the
synthetic-
reality of UFOs.
You know, like they call them synthetic humanoid Evangelion. It's like the full title of the robots, basically.
Damn,
like that's essentially the reality of UFOs. Not that it's literal like spaceship, beep, 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 but it's like it's a entity that transmits other divine entities through realities.
like a
But
vessel.
what's crazy is like when the humans are piloting these ships and they're fighting the supernatural threats, but they're basically using supernatural technology. You notice there's always like one more little button they can push for more power. Like think of the fourth movie. They're literally warping through dimensions, and they're like, oh no, we got 5% power left. Push a button and some
like backdoor code.
and some bigger engine comes out. It's like they were constantly pushing the technology to new heights that were shattering the rules of reality. You know?
Yeah, you mean like okay? I don't want to go into that point because we're not at that part of the movie.
Oh, wait,
yet.
we're gonna get
yeah.
there.
I'm like,
We're
I
gonna
want to
get
get
there.
right
We're-
till we get to like 3.0, dude. It's insane.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Do you have anything else written for the first one?
Oh, I have a lot written.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just little data points like
Blips and blaps.
Cell. We didn't even talk about this yet.
So they introduced Cele in the
Cele.
first one.
Yes. Do you want to
Sure,
explain that?
Sure. So to me, one of the coolest parallels, maybe not like coolest, but most interesting parallels that Evangelion has to like the phenomenon and to consciousness in general is there is a shadow government in Evangelion called Cele or Cele, which in German means soul,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And just they're like this elite, hyper elite, 1% shadow government.
Secret society,
Secret society.
occult knowledge.
Yeah,
Like they communicate to the head of Nerve through like monoliths, basically.
yeah,
Like,
like
it's
some
like-
2001 shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They literally look like that, but with like the symbolism on it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so the shadow government, you never like see their faces, you never see like their bodies or anything. They just communicate with these monoliths. The logo for Cele is an upside down philosopher's stone, and the circle in the middle is the apple of Eden, and there's a snake coiling around it. There's 7 eyes on the symbol, and then there's a quote. And what does the quote say?
It's in German.
It's in
but
German.
Like, the quote is God judges above the firmament, above the stars, as we have judged, is what the quote is translated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I found. I just looked up the word cell, and I don't know that this is a real correlation. I just thought it was a really cool coincidence. But in Scottish folklore, Seelie or Seelie is their term for like fairies and supernatural beings.
Whoa.
So could be,
could be
a correlation
something,
there.
yeah.
I mean, we can't know for sure, but it is cool.
That's cool.
That's sick.
Also, like another like cool thing is, I wanted to bring this up earlier, but like the title is basically Greek, right?
The title of the show.
Yeah, Neon Genesis Evangelion is like Greek for like new original gospel or something like that,
New original gospel, which is like,
Right.
come on.
Well, especially with the crosses of light, like it's,
yeah.
Christ consciousness. But so it's cool because essentially just to talk a little bit about the plot so you understand like how Cell operates. It's like this main character Shinji, he's just this 14-year-old dude, and in the very beginning you find out his dad is like basically the head of Nerve, which Nerve is like kind of like the Men in Black, kind of like a very futuristic experimental wing of the military that has these
to
Evas.
something else earlier, like yesterday, I can't remember.
Was it the CIA?
No.
DARPA.
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 Yeah. You're like, it's kind of like DARPA. Yeah.
Kind of like
makes
that.
So
like
much sense, though.
futuristic tech, know, and they have these robots and his dad is like the head of that. But as it goes on, you find out his dad is like the head of Seal or Cele or whatever.
Yeah.
No, he's working on his own accord. He's like following their instructions, but he's like doing his own like secret shit in the background. He's like kind of like,
Well, he surpasses them.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
he surpasses all of them. And it's crazy because there's multiple layers of like shadow government in the military that is trying to protect humanity, and then you have this like shadow occult group that is multi-generational, has the supernatural occult knowledge to see aeons into the future and know how to orchestrate this precise spiritual predestiny plan for all of consciousness and like carry it out by basically ritualistically forcing the prophecy to come true ahead of time.
And in Evangelion, that's the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Right.
Is what is like the guide stone to pushing this evolution further, you know?
They call it the Apocryphal Dead Sea Scrolls, which is a real thing. Yeah. So it's crazy. It's Hereditary's like that too. You know, it's like I think real life is like that. There are secret occult groups that have this multi-generational plan, and everything that we see and experience are just like check that off the list of prophecy they're trying to fulfill. And it's very cool. They're in a pyramid. They operate in a big black pyramid underground.
Nerve operates.
Yeah,
in a pyramid
but then Cell is in
underground.
an upside down pyramid.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's as above, so below. It's
really
it's so sick. Yeah, Nerve and Celle, at least in the beginning, like in the first movie or second, they seem like they're like opposite organizations.
Yeah, it's like Nerve works for Celle, and they still have their own secrets. Like there's that part in the second movie where like Gendo and Fuyutsuki are on that moon base, and they're like, yeah, but they won't let us on the moon base. You know, they're like just kind of circling around it.
Yeah.
They're like, what are they up to? You
Yeah,
know?
they're still keeping their
see them
secret.
working on Ava Mark IV though in the background. You know.
Yeah, it's like an extremely elaborate plan, like that's planned down to the most minute detail,
Down to the decisions
yes
that people will make.
Yeah, they know the decisions that people
They
will
know the
make.
decision everybody's going to make. They
Everything
arranged
is
it.
predetermined. Like, you know, the pilots are predetermined, pre-selected through the Marduk Institute. It's like every child in Tokyo 3 has potential to be an Ava pilot, but only specific ones can ascend.
Awaken.
You know?
Yeah. That's what. When do you find out? Which movie do you find out that like the pilots themselves are able to ascend?
It's right at the end.
Wasn't
of
it
two.
the second one?
The
Right
end
at
of
the end
two.
of two.
Okay.
Because Shinji awakens in the second one.
Right. Okay.
That's how it
And
ends.
like he starts the
third
near
impact.
third impact is what it is.
Right. So we should briefly breeze by the impacts real quick. So this shadow organization, Cella, they are, doing these things to make these cataclysmic events happen. And these events happen in the form of impacts. They call them impacts. And they're these huge
Cataclysmic events.
World cleansing.
Yeah.
like quote unquote angelic. It's not angelic, but it comes from the angels that they've been fighting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it wipes out huge portions of Earth each time there's an impact.
I just clicked. I'm just like clicking more things. Like the first impact was when Adam comes to Earth, like thousands of years before humanity's.
Oh, that's when the first.
You know where it was? Antarctica.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, and that's when in like 2010, 2014, Misato's dad is like out there just in excavating and stuff, and that's where they find Adam, the first angel, which triggers the second impact.
Oh my god!
And then you were telling me this last night while we were watching the fourth movie. You were like, "Oh my god, I just realized the impacts are the four horsemen of the apocalypse."
It's
the
because
second
like,
impact turned the sea red.
Yep.
Like wormwood.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa,
dude! And it's like at that point, Gendo is saying after the fourth impact is about to begin, he's like, "The four horsemen have assembled."
Yeah.
Just like
in the fourth movie, he said that. Last night, Raven was like, "Oh my god," and I was like, "Quiet."
Yeah.
Save it.
Like it clicked. Man. Like,
Save it.
Oh my god! Everything, dude.
So it really this series or this movie or whatever you want to call it, it really like faithfully follows the like end times in the Bible.
It's an allegory.
It is an allegory.
It's literally an allegory for like biblical prophecy.
Yeah, and through
the awakening of
throughout
consciousness.
the history of this story, there are four major impacts that they reference, and it's a parallel to the four horsemen. Each time they get progressively worse and different. It's like different plagues.
Yeah,
but humankind.
the first one, like I guess it probably only covered through like Antarctica, which is kind of makes sense why it's like just like a frozen hellscape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second one painted the seas red. The third paints the lands red. Purifying everything.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
So crazy.
So
now let's hold off on the fourth one, and we'll build up to that.
There.
We'll build up to that.
What were you about to say?
I don't remember.
Okay, so the first two impacts essentially happen before really the show even starts.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then we see the third impact take place at the end of the second movie. And basically, a lot of the second movie, if I remember correctly, is just like they're fighting angels. There's a little bit of exposition. There's you find out a couple
It's
nuggets.
the other
of
way
information.
around.
What?
The second movie was like a lot of introducing new characters.
Yeah, they're introducing
and like a
characters
little bit of
and
action.
showing their like
That's
goals
right.
and motives. Like
That's right.
when you meet like Kaji and like
Asuka.
Yeah,
Yep,
the
Kaji
new
and Asuka.
pilots and all that.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah,
And Mari.
Mari,
Yeah.
yeah. The second one didn't get like super mystical until the end. The
no,
end
it
of the
was
movie.
because they were gonna have Asuka test out that Mark IV, Evangelion unit, and it had an angel inside of it somehow. It was like infected. That's why.
Oh right.
Yeah, and then Shinji had the dummy plug system, and they were like, "Yo, you got to kill this Evangelion." It's an angel. He's like, "I can't." Asuka's in there. He just does nothing, and they basically like add the dummy plug system and like force him to like kill Asuka.
Yeah.
That's what infects the world. I don't know how that somehow that triggers the second impact.
the third.
Third.
Well,
impact. Yeah,
what
third.
happens? Remember, it's because he awakened.
Yeah. Okay.
It's because an angel attacked, and he had to awaken to kill it. And also something about Ayanami. Ayanami was taken. He was eaten. She was eaten by the angel.
Being trapped inside the Evangelion.
An angel ate her and was going to take her like forever.
Yeah.
And he awakened and like jumped
Like,
through
pulled
that
her-
dimension and pulled her out.
Yeah.
And then it brought the impact.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in like a super dire moment towards the end of the movie, Shinji, the main character, he awakens and it causes that third huge cataclysmic event. And also just like so that Shinji as a character, he's extremely traumatized. I mean, imagine being a 14-year-old kid. You haven't spoken to your dad most of your life. And then all of a sudden you get a call from your dad. And he's like, "Hey, I want to have lunch." And
That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
You have lunch, but
Yeah.
can you also save the world for me, please?
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
show up and your dad's like,
But-
"Yeah, we're not having lunch. I just need you to risk your life and get into this robot you've never been in and try to fight a freaking massive alien."
Yeah.
Shinji is very, very, very traumatized.
He's also very meek.
Yes,
yes,
he is.
absolutely.
For the first 3 movies, I didn't like that, but after seeing the fourth, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. He's an allegory for Christ's consciousness.
Yeah, he is.
He was completely nonviolent and compassionate through the whole movies,
Mhm.
and he ascended past all of them.
Yeah, like straight up.
Yeah.
He so yeah, that's really like one of the only super crazy mystical things that happens in the second movie. He ascends, boom, third impact, world goes crazy, and then there's a 14-year time skip,
Yep.
right? Between 2 and 3.
3, yeah.
Y'all have any notes on 2 that you want to
Yeah, I've got some
you want
notes.
to shout out real quick
and I feel
before
like
we move on?
We've breezed past. We haven't even talked about like what the Avas actually are.
The
They're not
Avas?
just robots.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but
no,
like
they're-
for their sake.
Yeah, they're literally robots that are synthetic clones of like the first angel Adam, or no, the second angel Lilith.
yeah.
So, and we didn't even talk about the Lilith thing. So it's like it's like the humans at this point are playing God. They're studying the supernatural because the angels, sure, they appear to be aliens from off-world, but at the end of the day, they're supernatural entities that travel through reality and through the cosmos. So it's like the humans are mimicking the supernatural technology, but also like it's real because they're learning the mysteries of it, and so these Avas are like basically part angel and they have a mind of their own. And we didn't say this, but every time one of the angels is killed. And in the first 3 movies, a lot of angels are killed because, it's before the Avas are just fighting each other. There's a cross of light, a massive cross of light. Think like mushroom cloud explosion nuke.
Like whenever you destroy the core of an angel, it makes this massive bright
It's a cross of light with a halo of light
Yep.
and rainbows arcing all around every time without fail. When angels are killed, cross of light, halo of light, rainbow of light.
Yep.
They're telling you it's like it's the biblical symbolism,
Mhm.
But where were we going after?
Oh, we would just any notes you have.
Oh, second movie.
second one.
Yeah,
Second
from
movie.
2.
You got anything for the second one?
The only thing I really because I knew you guys would pick up more than me, but like the key of Nebuchadnezzar,
Yes,
they're, like,
yes.
it's the guide stone that will link man with God, basically. They're
Oh.
and it's like literally the key looks like let me see.
It was a syringe to inject
Yeah,
yourself
it was like a
with.
syringe, but
Alex
it
has
also
something.
looked like a nervous system.
Oh, wow.
Well, Nebuchadnezzar was the name of the Matrix ship,
The
right?
ship.
right.
The ship,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that
It's
has
also
the
a
same.
biblical prophet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was,
So in the very beginning of the movie too, okay, so movie 1, you find out that the humans, the group Cell, the evil occult group, has made a pact with Lilith, which was this angel that they had crucified on a cross, like
Yep.
underground.
that's like deep under the nerve headquarters is Lilith crucified and stabbed with the Lanceologinus, you know?
Yeah, and they made a pact with her for power, basically.
Yep.
So in the very beginning of the second movie, one of the angels is escaping. I'm not sure if it was Lilith, but they had an angel contained, and it starts to escape. And in the dialogue, they're like, the angel's escaping from containment unit Cocytus. And I'm like, okay, gotta look it up. So Cocytus is ancient Greek. It is literally translated into lamentation, the river of wailing in the underworld of Greek mythology. So like,
dude.
it's constant like duality. It's like heaven and hell symbolism, but it's also inversed. Like the angels are basically the demons.
They are.
You know,
Yeah.
it's that as above, so below. Like they're inverting biblical symbolism. It's like they hold them underground, crucified on a cross, but it's Lilith, which is the biblical dark.
She's a demon in the
She's a
Bible.
demon. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a demon, but she's crucified on a cross.
Yeah.
You know, crazy.
It is so wild. So wild.
Couple other lines from the second movie. Like Raven said, the key of Nebuchadnezzar is the guidepost that will unite soul and God. It will open the gates of human instrumentality.
Uh-huh.
So they're talking about, it's that left-hand path. The SEAL group is trying to ascend in an attempt to like become as God.
Yep.
Whereas opposed to Shinji's path, which is the Christ consciousness path,
Uh-huh.
you know, which is how it, you know, I guess we could say like that's how it ends up. He ascends to love and compassion and kindness, and he becomes a god. But in the second movie, they say chaos is in the eye of the beholder. The world is always made up of harmony and order.
Ooh.
You know, that's a Masonic quote,
Yes.
chaos out of order. It's
Uh-huh.
it's spirit science. It's like the wisdom of Atlantis. It's like reality is dual. It's chaos and order, light and dark, yin and yang.
Yeah.
And another quote that I thought was profound was, let me find it really quick. In the end of the first movie, they said, Shinji needs love only because only love will ease his loneliness. So it's this theme of him being so desperate and broken and traumatized and despair.
Yeah.
And, you know, you saw how the fourth movie ended. He finds love and forgiveness, even for his enemies, you know? But
What's crazy is that's how it ended in the 90s anime, and nobody liked that back then. They're like,
I could see why.
They're like, we want the dark shit. And that's when
right.
end of Evangelion, which is like, he was like, okay, well, fuck you. Here's the dark
I forgive
ending
you.
on it. And it's so bad, dude.
Really?
Like, it's really good, but I mean, like, bad, like, dark bad.
No, I like this happy ending.
Yeah, no, I do
That's
too,
like,
honestly.
people
Like,
were
I think,
upset
like,
about
the
that.
the older I get, like, the more I'm like, okay, yeah, that was great. But, like, ask me, like, 10 years ago, I, like, loved End of Evangelion for some reason. It was like,
I think like real talk, man, I get soured if shit doesn't have a good ending.
yeah.
Because it's like I've invested all this time into energy watching these
So
characters.
we gotta watch End of Evangelion, but at least once. You know?
You're just gonna give me a middle finger and make me have spent years of my life
Yeah, that's what I'm
watching
saying.
this all be for nothing.
Yeah.
That's what Anno did with End of Evangelion, because he made it happy at the end of like the 90s anime, but like I said,
People
a
didn't
lot
like
of people
it.
complained for some reason.
So
Like the ending of that anime was just like Shinji like accepting and loving himself. Like, you know, that's what we got from that, like closure for him, you know?
that's awesome. So
yeah,
then
and
it
I was like, that was great. And then nobody fucking liked it for some reason.
I love that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Was
dude.
it different than the way the movie ended though?
Yeah, it's. I don't even know. It is so much weirder. It's like
Really?
it still does like the thing where like the fourth movie is like everything's like a set and a stage. you know,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Like it does that, but like the budget, they were running out of budget towards those last couple episodes.
Oh,
So
geez.
it's like it's kind of bad. It's like it's still a good ending.
Okay, so the third movie.
Well, I've got one more note
Oh,
from
oh,
episode or from the second movie,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Okay,
there was
yeah.
a base that they were creating Avazat called Golgotha Base. You know what Golgotha is?
No.
Golgotha is the place that they say Judas Iscariot went and basically killed himself after Jesus was crucified.
Whoa.
It's like the place of bones and skulls. It's a biblical quote.
Okay.
Whoa.
So the freaking the biblical references are on a 10 in this.
This is why I'm glad we're doing this episode.
Oh,
Because I'm
yeah.
like, I knew you would like pick up on more things than I did.
And there's
you know?
more than by the third movie, I just stopped writing.
yeah, there's
dude.
so much.
It never stopped.
Yeah. It's-
Yeah, that's what's great about that franchise, man.
Every little name of a being or a facility or a government program, it's all either fucking biblical, Greek myth, Sumerian, occult, tree of life, Kabbalah shit.
Yeah, that's-
none of it was random.
No, like they pick and pull from like everything. You know,
Yes.
like that's what they wanted to do when they made this anime. Like they say, like it was just to stand out from like your regular mech animes, like your Gundams and stuff like that were going on. Well, I think it was more than that. You know?
I do
It
too.
was on purpose.
It was
had
definitely
to
on
have been,
purpose.
You know.
We were talking about that earlier because the creator of Evangelion's like, oh no, we just did
Thought
it.
it looked cool.
Yeah, because it looks cool and different and whatever. But like, you watch this and you're like, you are lying.
He's an
I gotta
initiate.
show you like the '90s anime. It like the opening theme has.
Kind of want to
like,
watch it now.
It has like the opening has like the tree of life like in it.
Yeah.
like, in the opening theme, dude. It's crazy.
I feel like he's got to be an initiate of an order, or he's just studied it his whole life and he's highly knowledgeable of this esoteric stuff. But it is not an accident.
Or it was just a sidekick download, dude, because like
It's too
he's
specific,
like literally
though.
just an animator for most of his life, you know. But I don't know what he does on his free time.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
dude.
I 100% believe in
Other
psychic
than-
downloads, bro. But like with the symbolism that he's using is like
It's too accurate.
That's knowledge that has to be collected.
Yeah.
That's not coincidence, dude.
It's too pinpoint accurate.
It's yes,
Like, yeah.
precise. This guy is on some shit. He's an initiate of an esoteric order, or I don't know.
He be knowing.
He be knowing.
He be knowing.
He be knowing it.
He for sure be knowing it.
Third movie,
Yes. Okay.
3.33.
3.33.
3.33.
The third movie.
bless.
It starts on a 10.
Yeah.
It's,
absolutely.
It starts like crazy action from the jump.
Mari and Asuka just in outer space fighting an angel. you
Yes.
know?
Yes. That was probably the first movie where the animation was like stunning.
Yeah, because it was made more recently,
Right.
Like 2014 or something like that.
Uh-huh. It was like stunning. Yeah, the movie starts off, they're immediately fighting angels, like from the jump. And then like 3 or 4 angels in a row they're fighting. Like it is like
Yeah.
intense. It's obvious from the beginning of the third movie that because the second movie ended with another impact and Shinji awakening and all that stuff, it has obviously ramped stuff way, way up. Think about the 4 horsemen. As the horsemen appear, things get exponentially worse.
Worse and worse.
Yeah, like each one of the horsemen, when they show up, it gets worse
Yeah,
and worse.
the
and
impact is more severe.
Exactly, and it gets more intense and that kind of stuff. So it's obvious from the start of this movie that things are getting close to the end, or you know what?
Yeah,
have
well,
you.
the rest of because Shinji's been asleep for 14 years,
Yeah.
the main character, and like some point towards the middle or the middle, he's like makes it to where he's trying to go. He's been hibernating for 14 years. He's like basically a prisoner. He escapes, and then he's like kind of shown the reality of the world, and it's all dead.
Yeah.
Like the whole world
Yeah,
is
you
dead.
can see it like when like Mari and Oscar are in space, the whole world is just red.
It's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like only small pockets of society even left.
If you want to call it what Zayla calls it, purified. You know.
Purified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They purify.
And but he did it.
Yeah, it's all him.
Which further contributes to that trauma. Like,
Right,
because
right.
Yeah,
now
he-
he ascends, he goes into a 14-year coma, wakes up and realized
Yeah, all
I
he-
basically just destroyed the world. I basically just killed most of the planet.
I think it's worth mentioning he
thought
was
that
stopped
just
from fully
saved his
ascending.
friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
We glanced past this. He was stopped from fully ascending, right?
Yeah.
So in the second movie, he ascends.
Yeah, that's why they call it in the movies. They call it near third impact. Like it was.
He
almost
starts awakening to like cosmic level consciousness, and
Yeah.
he's like glowing like basically a being of light, and he like walks through to another dimension of reality and like performs a supernatural miracle, and
Yeah.
he like brings her back into the
From-
physical world.
Yeah.
Who, Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when she's trapped inside that angel. You know.
Right.
They called it miracles. Remember, they
Yeah.
kept saying we need another miracle.
Yeah, and then so essentially they expound on the information in the third movie, they talk more about how, you know, these special kids who are selected to pilot these big Ava robots, they have the ability to ascend, like their literal consciousness.
Yeah, awaken.
They can awaken, and when they do, they, you know, glow with light. They become extremely powerful, and it's so interesting because you're like, oh, great, that's really cool.
Yeah,
That's gonna help them fight the angels, right?
See, like, they fuse with their angel,
Yeah.
with their Evangelion. Like you see it in that.
It's not a
like,
robot anymore.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like literally Unit 1's arm was like ripped off, and you see when Shinji ascends, it like grows
back.
an arm
Dude,
back.
it sheds the fucking robot materials.
Yeah, and it just looks
You know?
like flesh, you know, like, but it's like kind of
Flesh and light.
flesh
It's
and
like,
light,
you know?
just like
Yeah. You see like the arm come out and it's like light and then it becomes
like how it
flesh.
just kind of pops out like a lightsaber. Those
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like-
Yeah.
It's very visually just jaw dropping.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude.
But they finally like give you the info that like, yeah, these kids can ascend and it's a big deal. So you're thinking like, oh great, they can beat the angels with this now. But all of these dark organizations pulling these strings, all of this stuff, they don't want these kids to ascend. They put it under the guise or the excuse of like, well, if you ascend, that could start another impact, right? But that's like not like truly what's starting the impact. Truly what's starting the impacts are that Sella has been putting all of these things in place. They've been tweaking things. They've been like placing breadcrumbs, leading everybody to these very, very specific events that are causing the impacts. So they're using that as an excuse to say like, no, we don't want these kids to ascend. And so they put collars on these kids called, is it DSS?
yeah.
Deification shutdown collars, to where if they begin to ascend, it'll literally just blow their head off.
Yep.
Yeah, rip to that one. That was tough. Just all
Yeah,
of
no,
them.
it's crazy because it's like that one was put on Shinji and he just like took it off. We know why he took it off though by the fourth movie,
Right.
And how he did it. You
Yeah.
know?
All right, so then what happens next?
Right.
So in the third movie, we know they can awaken, and they're basically like gods, becoming gods. These Ava pilots, they're not ordinary humans. And Shinji's with this other guy, and he has this deification collar
We
on.
meet Kaoru in the third movie.
He awakens, and what happens?
Who awakens?
Kaoru awakens.
Kaoru awakens,
Yeah, but
and
like
his head
why?
gets blown
Yeah,
off.
His
but
head
let's
gets
say,
blown
can we
off.
explain like why and what they were doing?
Sure,
that
yeah.
made it happen.
I honestly don't remember why he
Oh
awakened.
yeah, they were going down into the hell pit to get the two lances. Remember, you thought they were going to be the same lance.
It was like Longinus and
Cassius and
Cassius
Longinus. You think that they're going to get Cassius and Longinus, but Gendo
put two
like,
Longinus.
Yeah,
spears.
he put two Longinus into Unit 13.
So
trick
let me
them.
try to make that make sense real quick for everybody. I'm gonna just give you the super quick version. Basically, think of these as like you know, primordial biblical artifacts. These spears,
like the Spear of Destiny.
exactly like the
That's
spear of
exactly what
destiny.
it is.
So think of it like this: like in the earliest stages of a planet, let's just say Earth. In Evangelion lore, an angel falls down to the planet, and all life on that planet comes from that angel, right? There's only supposed to be one angel that falls down to each planet. And so let's say, remember, there's two main primordial angels that all life comes from, Adam and Lilith. So only one is supposed to fall down to each planet, either Adam or Lilith. Earth had two, both. Earth had Adam and Lilith.
Yep.
And when that happens, to prevent like basically complete chaos from erupting, they sacrifice one of the angels with the spears. So the Adam would show up and he would have the Cassius spear, and the Lilith would show up and she would have the Longinus spear. So Shinji goes underground to where Lilith was sacrificed because they both fell onto Earth, and he was expecting to see both spears because he knows that's what they told him. Is like there was an Adam and a Lilith. So you should go down there and see Longinus and Cassius, and with those two together, you could write a new reality for this planet and you could fix everything. He goes down there and it's two Longinus spears, which is not supposed to happen.
Yep. It's like literally the whole time that everyone is trying to stop him from pulling the spears out, to even like Kaoru in the Unit 13 with him. Which like most of these Ava are piloted just by one person. Unit 13 has two, but that's for like a backdoor thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody's trying to stop Shinji. Like, no, it's the wrong spears. Don't pull the spears. Those are not the right spears. And I almost called him Luffy. Shinji is so like determined to like redeem himself because he in his mind he basically ruined.
Really thinks
the whole,
he's gonna fix everything.
Yeah, he thought he ruined the
now.
whole planet.
Yeah.
So he's like, I gotta fix everything right now. So he's zealous. He's way overzealous. He pulls the spears out, bro, and that's when you find out that was orchestrated by that dark government, Sella.
So-
They replaced the Cassius spear with another Longinus spear,
Knowing he would pull them.
knowing that he would pull them. He pulled them, started the last impact.
So remind me why that other kid awakened, because by that point I was 3 movies in back to back, and I was like overload
technically,
information.
Kaoru was the first angel, and all part of that plan was to get him to ascend to become the 13th angel to trigger that 4th impact.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the way that he actually ascended though was I think it's because he got near Lilith. I think
Yeah,
like,
because he was like an angel of Adam, I believe.
yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Adam was the first angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it showed him at one point, maybe in the 4th movie, he was in this eternal cycle of always incarnating there just for that to play out, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Shinji eventually rewrote that and made peace with him.
Yeah. Also, those chokers that they wear. What were the crystals that they're
Vogel crystals.
Vogel crystals,
Yeah.
which are like Tree of Life.
So Marcel Vogel was a guy, I'm not sure what decade it was in, but it was in the 1900s.
Can I say something kind of goofy?
What?
Sure.
I thought you were saying vocal.
I did too.
And I was like, oh, I get it because it's near his throat.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
Vogel,
whoa.
like Vogel.
Okay.
And Marcel Vogel was a scientist. He was a legitimate, like,
crystal
he created the technology for LCD TVs.
Oh,
Liquid crystal
Shout
display.
out Vogel.
He
Made our
worked at
TVs good.
he worked at a company that it's a big company. It's like IBM or I can't remember which one. And he was like this fringe like Einstein type who would get these crazy ideas about crystals and how they have applications in technology. And he started having dreams about the Kabbalah tree of life. And he had this dream where he saw the Kabbalah tree of life materialize and then its geometry shape the dimensions of a crystal.
Okay.
This is his real, he had this in a dream and he woke up
That's
and he
cool.
created the Vogel crystal. And it's the most powerful cut of crystal known to mankind.
So it's a type of cut.
It's the cut. It's not an actual crit, it's just a quartz. But it's
Gotcha.
the precision, it's laser cut to perfectly mirror the geometrical dimensions of the Kabbalah tree of life.
Okay.
And
That
he
is
got
so
that
cool.
in a dream.
So yeah, those chokers that they put on these kids have those like Vogel crystals in them, and if they begin to ascend, those crystals like come out and then go back in and blow their head off.
Explosion.
Do you remember the 4th movie when he was being shown that power plant that had all those big devices that like prevented the cleansing from reaching their society? It gave them a little pocket of normal Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nodes of this power plant system were perfectly arranged in the Kabbalah tree of life.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was
like,
actually the Kabbalah tree of
it
life.
was like the exact geometry.
Same
We
way, yeah.
paused it and looked at it and everything.
So think about this. Oh yeah, I'll just put it because it looked cool. Really, bro? And then those devices that have that power have Vogel crystals that are even cut to the Kabbalah tree of life.
it's too specific.
They look cool.
Yeah, no.
You ain't fooling me, son.
No,
You ain't fooling us.
It's,
Like,
it's way too
it was
specific.
very architecture. It was like a mind put all these little pieces together very intentionally.
He's lying to us, bro. He's
He's
did
lying.
it on purpose.
He's
Oh,
a
yeah.
liar.
Yeah, he's trolling. Yeah. Ryan made a good point that like, a lot of this mystical knowledge, these secret societies, they are very hush hush
Yes.
about it, and they won't even admit when they
A lot
do
of them
this.
swear oaths, bro. They
Yeah.
can't just come out and tell you like this is what it means. They're
Yeah,
not
right.
allowed.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened. He probably is a part of some. This is just speculation, but
Right.
some society, and maybe he had to write like, I ain't gonna say nothing about my anime. Like,
And I don't know that for sure, man, but I really do feel like there's some form of psychic coalition of artists and creators of film and media and just big high art. I feel like there is a push to put this esoteric information into it.
I can feel that. All right, let's get to the finale.
The 4th movie. All right, this is where it goes. This is it.
This is where they take you out the kiddie pool. I kind of did that in the third movie, honestly.
Honestly, yeah.
But then
This
they
is
just
where they-
push you into the deep end. Like, go.
This is where they make you smoke DMT.
Yeah, dude.
They put the pipe to your mouth and
Yeah.
light it for you.
They're like, you're ready.
Yeah.
They're like,
Smoke.
This isn't about robots.
Yeah, it's not about robots. It's not about any of it, honestly.
Like,
Buddy.
yeah, like from early on in the fourth movie, it's like, okay, let's cut the shit. It ain't just about these big robots no more. Let's start giving you the actual.
Here's what it's all about.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm so happy that they actually gave us the info because so many of these like artsy type things, they just still won't give you the
They
info.
leave it vague.
Like Bo's Afraid. That's why we were so upset about it.
Yeah.
I
It's
still
just,
haven't seen that one. You guys make me not want to watch it, honestly.
Honestly, bro, I can't recommend that movie.
It's
yeah.
heartbreaking.
It was a very disappointing.
It's
Like
just like Ari Aster, man. He's that dude.
Well, look,
Such a great director.
Look,
people can
I-
make mistakes, bro.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
I
Everyone's
know-
got their flop.
Yeah, I know you and I know your tastes and stuff. I think you'll actually like enjoy watching the movie. And there were
Okay.
definitely moments where like I was enjoying watching it for sure. Just
It's
like
funny.
what the fuck?
It's very funny.
I think the best piece of advice I could give you going into that movie is like do not expect to understand a single thing that's happening. Because
Okay.
they will never
Dude,
Yeah.
that was-
explain it.
That's how I felt like when I was doing the research for Evangelion. I felt like a maniac looking at all this stuff. I'm just like,
It's a lot of info, but Evangelion actually gives you the explanation.
Yeah.
Right.
One way or another, you might have to dig for
it
it.
at least gives you the symbol so you can do the research.
Exactly.
It might not give you the
yeah,
information
no,
like
you know,
Akira does.
A lot of the
per se.
information that they give you, you can find it in like PlayStation 2 games that never came to America, basically.
Dude, the thing about Evangelion is it's literally recognizable symbolism. You can look it up and know what it's telling you.
Ancient.
Yeah, it's universal.
Yeah.
And not to go on a tangent about Bo's Afraid, but like he literally went so far as to like take the symbols and alter them and it'll just be like triangles everywhere. It's like you just don't even know what he's trying to tell you. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, obviously this is esoteric, but I don't care
Okay.
because you see me as a dummy who doesn't deserve to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I
it's
felt from
kinda
that
up
movie.
its own ass.
Yeah.
Yes,
with
it's
it.
way up its own ass.
It is.
Damn.
It,
that's-
I felt like it was a very arrogant movie. Like you're not even going to give me a crumb of the cookie. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
It does.
That's what y'all get for thinking Hereditary was satanic.
I mean, it was.
Yeah.
It actually was pretty evil.
by definition.
Yeah.
It's kind of spooky though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my favorite. It's my favorite horror movie.
Oh, dude, yeah, especially that. Like, sorry, I'm just going on a tangent. That
It's okay.
part
It's all
good.
when
It's all
she's
good.
like crawling on the ceiling and she starts banging her head really fast.
Yeah.
Like if the first time it scared the shit out of me watching that, like every time I watch it now, I just can't help but laugh because it's so.
Bro,
It's like, bah, 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 bah.
this is the last thing I'm gonna say about it. I went into that movie blind.
Oh, same, dude. I had
Blind.
no idea what I was watching.
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
oh, it's. I hear a kid gets her head knocked off by a lamppost or something. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm in.
But see,
That's all I need to hear.
here's why Evangelion to
it's
me
spooky.
is like one of the greats of occult knowledge. It's like high art because again, it gives you the symbols and you know what it's telling you. He's working with you. Like if you just dig a little, you can find out what you're supposed to find out.
Yeah, and where the previous movies were a little kitschy with their symbolism. I mean, some things are in your face, but like you said, a lot of the things in the background, you got to look in the
Yeah,
background.
but
for
it's
the stuff.
there.
It is there, but the fourth movie couldn't be more in your face.
Yeah.
Could not. There's
Well,
a
absolutely.
The container holding everything together just pops and it all just oozes out. Like
yeah,
you know?
100%. Like they're fighting at one point. Two of the Ava pilots, like in their Avas.
Oh, also, can we talk about the ship, the Wunder?
Oh,
yeah, we
right.
never even talked about
Dude,
that.
that's just fucking Noah's Ark, basically.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
that's
they're like that scene, like where Masato's in there, and I can't even remember Ritsuko.
yeah, the blonde.
Yeah, she comes up and she's like, "You're always in this room. We should just make it your office." And then they explain, they're like, "It has every single life form in it, in each container."
Right.
I'm like, oh,
I forgot about that.
And
yeah. I was like,
she
"Oh,
even-
this is Noah's Ark."
Yeah, she even
Cool.
says the word
The Ark.
that it was designed to be an ark.
That's right.
So
yeah.
in this giant, massive new ship that they fly,
it's
they
also powered by Ava Unit 1.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
throw that out there. Gotta put that in there.
Supernatural technology.
They're literally like they turned an angel into a ship. Like
Yeah,
you know,
basically.
and it inside of it they have one of every living organism on Earth, and yeah, it's an ark. It's Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
But at one point, two of the Ava pilots in the Avas, they go into this like portal into this like it's basically the gates of hell. It's very obviously trying to visually convey to you that they're going into hell.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
They're literally going to hell where Gendo is to stop him from doing.
By the way, we didn't mention that either. 'Cause, I mean, now we're here. We're at the fourth movie, so we can talk about it all.
Yeah.
Gendo, which is the guy that's Shinji's dad, who works for Nerve, and then Cell, the dark.
They
we
opened
also
the door of Guff, which is the portal to hell, basically.
Right.
We also didn't even mention that this group Cell. I mean, you mentioned they were like German, but dude, it's the Nazi occult. That was a real thing. The Nazis had occult knowledge.
100%.
Oh my gosh, you think about the
like the
beginning of
Nazis.
the movie, the way they had those Ava units that were powering the one cannon. You see how they were like marching? It's just legs, like kind of, and they were like that green color.
Like
very Nazi.
like the Nazi military.
dude.
Very Nazi.
But
I was thinking that when I saw it.
so in the fourth movie, you find out that so many time or how much time has passed because Shinji's been like
in a coma,
hibernating and like literally resetting the world's population through cataclysms every time he awakens or whatever. And the show is very Interstellar 2001-esque, where it's like always from Shinji's perspective. So you, the viewer, drop in when Shinji wakes up and it's just a new world now and everyone's aged and new technology, and it's like, what the fuck?
I think that we discovered the gap in this between 3 and 4, which we're gonna call the movies because 3.0 plus 1.0, but it was like 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But my point is, by the fourth movie, the evil Cell group has ascended to this level of supernatural existence where they're operating from hell.
From, like the underworld.
They're not human anymore.
Yeah. No,
They've descended into like the dark realms.
Yeah, that's what because Gendo, they were like he gave away his humanity for like the knowledge and power,
which is like
when he
Odin.
went through Guff.
Yeah.
It's like Odin sacrificing his eye, and he takes his glasses off and his
No
eyes
eyes.
are gone.
Yep.
He has no eyes, remember?
Yeah.
But anyway, they go down into hell basically, and they're fighting like swarms of millions of Avas, and the Avas are swirling in sacred geometric patterns. And at one point, it's like a full spiral of consciousness that then explodes into the perfect flower of life. Like the exact perfect.
Like literally, it is the flower of life.
It is the perfect flower. So that's what I meant with like.
We got to preface before all of this craziness happens. There's like a little bit of like a Farmville incident going on.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Yeah, the movie does start pretty weird.
There's a Rey clone learning how to be a human, you know, and then Shinji's just being traumatized and laying down the whole time.
Yeah.
Until he just
that whole
snaps into it.
That whole like Rey thing with like her like learning how to be a human and stuff, and like it like inspires hope and then all this stuff, and then she just gets her head blown off
right in front of him
like,
again.
Right in front of Shinji, which interestingly enough,
it's starting to get better.
it is a huge turning point for Shinji because he got super ultra traumatized from seeing that other kid's
Kaoru
in the end of the third movie.
In the third movie. And so it happens to Rey, and you're like, oh God, like
what's he gonna do now?
Shinji's
It's the worst thing that could have happened.
His brain is gonna snap. He's gonna be, but it does the reverse.
It turned him towards the light.
It turned him towards the light. He like finally had enough and was like, if I don't do something, nothing's gonna happen. So I have to go, and it like charged him rather than. I'm sure they were trying to have the opposite effect. Just keep breaking him so he can't do anything.
Yep.
Breaking him down, give him hope, break him down, over and over.
Hope and despair.
Exactly. But he transfixed or he alchemized his trauma. He went past it, pushed past it. That's the word I was looking for. He transmuted his trauma, pushed through it, and he actually used it to like charge him into ultimately.
And he awakened, not in the literal Evangelion, like I'm glowing, but like emotionally he awakened.
No.
And he was confident, and he was like not scared anymore.
That was like
he used to be a crybaby. Now he's like, sure, I'll come fight. I'll save the world. He wasn't scared or he changed.
No, but he just like immediately was like, I know what I have to do now.
He's the one. He was like Neo. He's like,
literally that was his Neo moment. Dude.
Yeah,
it's like there's that moment with Neo where you see like him become the one.
Yes.
Like, and
he's beginning to believe.
His personality changes.
Yeah, he's so cool-headed and confident.
Shinji had that.
Like, that was,
holds up
that.
his arm, blocking all the hits from Agent Smith like it's nothing. He's calm, he's collected, whatever. Shinji has that exact same moment.
The rest of the fourth movie is that moment.
Yeah.
So basically, like, okay, so we're at the part where, they're storming the gates of hell. It's like the final battle. they get through the gates of hell, and like you said, it's very visually cutting edge. Think like, end of 2001 where they're going through portals and it's like trippy, like DMT visuals.
Mhm.
This movie starts going in that direction.
Big time.
And like at one point they start diving through like more exotic layers of imaginative reality.
Yeah, what did they call
the
that?
Anti-universe.
The anti-universe. And they explain.
Like Wunder and the rest are like, oh, we can't go through there. It's like only like
A human can't go through here. Yeah, not normal humans.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, yeah, that we didn't say that part, that like Shinji, Mari, and all of them are like literally just like clones of themselves too at this point.
Yeah,
they're not the original.
Yeah, you find out that like all the Ava pilots, the reason that they are special is because they're essentially like, they're descended from those original angels. They're like clones of those original angels.
Yep.
Like they basically are.
So now we're bringing in the special bloodline shit. Great.
Right, exactly.
More truth and fiction.
Exactly.
So at a certain point, they're not on Earth anymore. They're in another dimension with colorful DMT
zone.
fractals, and they literally explain to us, the viewer, through character dialogue. They're like, yeah, basically, we're in the anti-universe where everything is not like. It's not real. It's like imaginative. So the universe is going to create holograms and simulations for the mind to comprehend the events that are unfolding. But it's like all imaginary space.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's like, Shinji piloting Unit 1, like in that sense, like physically fighting his father, in Unit 13.
Yeah, so like Shinji basically descends into this anti-universe to confront his father. And it's like you're almost witnessing like their souls battle.
Yep.
And it's just showing it to you in a way that you can understand, which is also exactly what the characters are going through. Like they're in, like Ryan said, this imaginative space.
The simulations look like sets for
exactly.
like a movie show or like a movie show.
A movie show.
Yeah, the fourth wall of Evangelion falls apart, and next thing you know, they're fighting on like a Hollywood studio set because it's the universe giving them a simulation of the conflict between their souls at this point. But the battle's not real. It's just like energetic.
It's like their consciousness. Yeah, fighting each other. Like they are on the set of Evangelion.
Yeah, they are brain fighting.
Yeah.
It even shows a title card on a projector for Evangelion. Neon Genesis Evangelion.
End, but it's because like,
and it shows the 90s anime, remember?
It's cool because it's like at the end of it, he realizes like, oh, this isn't like, we're not supposed to fight. And he just like, they talk it out.
Well, yeah, they
no jutsu.
They keep fighting for eternity, and they keep hitting a stalemate. And then the father starts giving this dialogue that's like, "You represent the number one. You piloted the first Ava and the 13th Ava. I'm piloting the 13th Ava. We are this eternal pair. One representing hope, 13 representing despair.
Yeah.
We are the equal and eternal opposites, and our conflict will always result in a perfect harmony." And then it showed these like sacred geometry symbols of the two spears. They look like tuning forks.
Yep.
And then it showed these DMT like frequency patterns with the forks spinning and vibrating, and it would also show another scene of them just clashing spears for all reality. It's basically like dark and light, yin and yang. It was this cosmic cycle, and he was like, your brute force isn't going to hurt me. You can't affect me in this reality with anger and strength. We're going to have to talk. The battle is different here.
We can't. Neither of us are going to die. We're not going to physically die.
This will go on forever.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
We're in a different reality now. The physical violence is beneath our existence at this point.
Which is like kind of like a weird allegory for reincarnation. Like all the physical stuff you do doesn't matter. You have to do the spiritual work. You have to do the inside, the emotional,
And we didn't even mention the head of his mother. Remember?
Oh yeah.
When they descend into the imaginary space.
Yep.
A giant like
3D rendered.
I've done DMT once. I've only done DMT once, and I'm in no means an expert, but I will say my experience was exactly like that movie, where like basically they're all coming to terms with the fact that they're breaching into the imaginary reality, and everything around them is warping. You're seeing sacred geometry, DMT like fractals, and then like imagine you are on a ship on the ocean or like in the void of space. Like your perspective is like you can see the sea around you, but then you look up and you see the sky and the void of the cosmos, and the entire space of that void is filled with a face. That's what they did in the movie, but it was it wasn't a cartoon.
No,
It was like a CGI head.
It was straight up just like some uncanny valley.
It was weird.
They obviously tried to, because if you look at the rest of the animation in that movie and how gorgeous it is, like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. But you look at that, it's obvious that they tried.
Shock you.
Yeah, they tried to make the most shocking and uncanny, like uncomfortable thing they possibly could.
It's meta.
It worked.
Like,
it worked.
Reality's changing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, things start to not make sense during this battle. Things start to look different and feel different. Physics starts to change. It gets.
Oh yeah, like the fights, like the physical fights, sometimes would be like in Tokyo 3 on the street. Sometimes it was in like a kitchen. Or a classroom.
Yeah.
Like
Or a movie set.
Yeah.
One time it was on a Godzilla set.
Yeah.
And it was like CGI, like
it was crazy.
knocking buildings down like a Godzilla movie.
I really like the way they mess with the animation at the end there.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
awesome,
trippy.
and it's to convey that like we're outside reality now. Like things don't make sense anymore.
Oh, dude, we forgot to mention the part where homegirl with the red hair, Asuka,
Asuka?
she awakens to like save him
Oh
in the
my
end.
gosh. Yeah.
Like, dude, we glossed over this. So she begins to awaken before reality completely falls apart, and like she becomes this light being with a cross of light and a halo of light, and she turns into this giant godlike being.
Rainbow light covering her.
Exactly, and then in the spirit realm, she speaks face to face with her higher self.
Yeah.
it was
And
the
her higher
original
self,
that
her
ascended
original
first.
self, the perfect version of herself, that ascended to God. And it said something to her. It said something like,
She was like,
Beyond the
she was showing off her collar. She was like, I can't ascend like you. And she was like, oh, you're so dumb. And she just takes it off.
Yeah.
but she told her something like the final level of ascension is to become a God, right?
Yeah.
She said something like, accept my love kind of thing, I think.
Yeah.
And then she just snatches her out of there and takes her away, and she ascends out of her physical body, and she doesn't even die.
Yeah. She becomes a straight up light being.
Yep.
It's,
Unit 2 just explodes.
yeah.
The robot.
Her actual Ava explodes. It's like
Yeah.
her body dies and her spirit ascends, you know?
Yeah.
That happens before reality breaks apart. And then reality breaks apart. The movie essentially wraps up with they are able to create an artificial spear through sheer willpower, human willpower, by the way, which is something they call them Lilins, but like they briefly explained in that moment that like that's one of the most potent, powerful energies in the universe is human willpower.
Right.
And they basically manifest a new final spear that is like a combination of Longinus and Cassius.
I don't
And
remember what they called it.
I don't either, but
Like
Shinji,
the Spear of Hope. That's all I remember.
I think, Shinji wields it. And then with that, he gets to completely rewrite reality and he creates a new perfect reality.
He creates a reality that is free of all of this conflict of the Avas and the angels. He basically like
He erases Evangelion completely.
and the end of the movie is like
They call it Neon Genesis.
it's real live camera footage of Japan.
Yeah.
Like it's not a cartoon anymore. It's
Yeah.
real.
So what it's implying there is that Shinji rewrote his reality and that rewrite is our reality.
It's the normal life we're living now.
Yeah.
It's our reality. Yeah. Which would explain, the significance of all of that symbolism and all of that stuff. It's still like lingering around, even if the actual physical angels and Avas aren't there, that like, symbolic energy is still in this realm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like they literally, when he's talking to Ray, like you said, they show like this, like almost like projector thing in the background that shows like the original '90s anime, like fast forwarding through. And he's like, "I'll rewrite a reality without angels, without Evangelion." And she goes, "Neon Genesis."
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, they
like
said it.
Neon Genesis basically means a new beginning.
So like I'm kind of I think in modern times there deserves to be a list of like enlightening films. I'm working on my own personal list, and I feel like Evangelion just has made it on the list.
It's in that list.
It's
I'm
made it
glad.
on the list. The series as a whole.
Yeah,
you know?
like
Yeah.
this is like one of like that series is like near and dear to my heart, and I'm glad I could like get you guys to experience that with me.
Yeah, it was fun last night,
Oh,
man.
dude,
like
it
that
was
was
a blast.
that was a blast.
Super fun. It's extremely like I know a lot of you guys are probably like your brains are throbbing right now. It's extremely complex. It's extremely deep and intricate, but like the messages in there couldn't be more potent.
It's high art.
It's high art. It's high occult. It's high spirituality. And like that is one of the many things that makes Evangelion so dope. You got to show. They haven't seen your toys.
My toys.
We got to show Raven's toys.
So this is a gift from Angel.
Shout out
Shout
Angel.
out
Shout out
Angel.
Angel.
He's our model on our Instagram.
Yep.
If you see one of our male
I don't know what
models.
this toy company is, but they make collectible boys.
So that's Ava 13, right?
This is Unit 13.
Yeah.
You can see by the 4 eyeballs.
Nice.
And then this is Ava Unit 1.
Gotta have.
Shout out Ben Jones for this one.
Shout out Ben.
I don't know if he's been shouted out yet.
I don't know either. I
Probably
love
not.
you, Ben. He called me on my birthday.
Oh, nice.
I love that boy.
And then this is from the end of Evangelion, the 90s movie. This is Rey ascended as a god, basically.
Yeah. Oh my
Nice.
God! I didn't even notice you're wearing the Sella hat.
Yeah.
I
didn't notice either. Yeah.
We got the Shinji crying shirt.
Yeah, those
We got the
glasses.
kicks.
He's got like Evangelion Nike limited edition shoes.
Yeah,
They're
No,
cool.
these are
too.
just like, honestly, they weren't very collector. Like a lot of the sneakerheads were just like, kind of thought they were trash. But I was like, those look like Evangelion shoes.
Yeah.
They're not actually Evangelion shoes.
No.
No,
it's
I just
the
called
colors.
them that.
Oh, bro, I
'Cause they're-
thought you were for real.
I was just joking.
Yeah.
I just call them my Ava Unit 1 shoes. But like, no, they're like Nike Blazers that collabed with a company called Acronym. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about an anime that is near and dear to my heart.
My heart.
So my modern list is
Mahar-
like,
Mahalo.
and this is no particular order. It's like Matrix 2001. I guess
Akira.
Definitely
Oh, for
Akira. Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Sorry.
Pretty much Ghibli.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Princess
have you
Mononoke.
seen
Ponyo.
Ghost in the Shell?
No,
He has not.
Okay, we gotta watch Ghost in the Shell.
it's like that.
Yeah, can I come back for that one?
Is it a movie?
Yes.
Yeah, it's one movie.
It's
Okay, I'll
perfect.
watch a movie.
One
It's-
movie.
It's like, it's.
So good.
I love
Deal.
Ghost in the Shell,
We-
man.
we
That's
can watch
a-
it.
I know now.
Tonight.
Huh? Yeah,
Let's
honestly.
watch it.
Now we're just kind of geeking out about anime, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Another one that he 1000% has to see.
Vox Machina.
No.
Yes.
no.
but-
Whoa,
yes,
yeah, you gotta watch
but
that.
You've
but
been talking about it
Sick,
lately.
dude.
Paprika.
Oh yes, yes. I want to watch
Yeah, if
Paprika.
we-
You gotta watch
Yeah,
Paprika.
if we didn't have Paprika, we would not have Inception.
Yeah.
Like literally
Straight
majorly
up,
inspired
yeah.
by Inception. Straight up.
Yeah, Nolan even said
Paprika
that.
is-
Like he that's the inspiration for Inception.
Did Christopher Nolan direct was it Black Swan? Who directed
No,
it?
no,
okay,
no.
Okay, so Black Swan is also inspired by another movie written by the same dude, Satoshi Kon, great
The
anime
that-
director.
That's who made Ghost
he
in
made
the Shell.
Paprika. No, he
Oh.
made Paprika. He made one called Perfect Blue. That's
I've heard of that.
it's very dark. It's not nothing. I don't think anything esoteric comes from it.
Right.
Like, watch that on your own accord. But if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have Black Swan either. I'm just like, hey, look at all these cool anime films that made modern American movies,
Yeah, that's so
Like-
cool. Like how influential Japanese culture is.
Yeah.
Honestly, bro, I
Ooh,
believe.
you know what? That one we watched way back in Greensboro with Nathan. You guys,
Oh my god.
that's another good one. It's like a little 12 episode. 12?
Yeah, it was short.
What is
God, I wish I knew what it
You
was
told me
called.
about this.
Yes.
It's it's Sunny
Sunny Boy.
Sunny
Boy.
Sunny Boy. Yeah, you were
very
talking about this.
That-
It's up there with like end of Evangelion, like weird esoteric.
Oh,
Good,
Oh,
good.
it's very, very weird.
I love that.
But
anime.
it's on par with Evangelion in the fact that they just give you enough
Yeah.
to understand
You
what's
got to
going
do
on.
the work and find out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very
Yes.
cool.
It's
10 out
a
of
super
10.
short series, but it was fantastic.
And then fully cool if you want to turn your brain off and watch another robot anime.
Yeah, I seen Fully Cooley back when I was in middle school.
Oh, I watched.
I don't
that
really
one, like-
remember it that well. I
I watch
remember it
Fully
was,
Cooley like once a year.
it was very weird, but like I liked it.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of a cult classic kind of vibe. But dude, I love that like high art. I feel like Japanese anime in general has some of the most spiritually profound messages
Oh, for sure.
in their work.
Yeah, I would agree for sure. It seems like Eastern mysticism, Eastern spirituality is like very potent even to this
Even
day.
Western
Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah,
but
because
like
there's a lot of Western in Evangelion.
is all
you know?
biblical
Yeah.
prophecy.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of that. Like it's so even if like video games, think about Japanese video games.
Yeah.
They're all super spiritual. I mean, not all, but
I mean,
most
I
of
mean,
them.
some of them are just giant robots. Also,
Yeah, true.
Like,
but I feel
One
like
of the enders and stuff.
Japanese animation and art in
just
general
media.
media probably doesn't have the strict restrictions that the American, like Western, because I feel like there's a lot of censorship. I feel like there's a lot of negative agenda in Western media. Like if there really was a secret control group, I think they have their fingers on Western media, but it seems to me like Japanese media is so free with this esoteric knowledge. It's like it's some enlightening shit, bro.
By the way,
Akira changed me.
Oh, we're gonna have to do an episode about Akira.
Definitely going to do an Akira episode.
You mentioned in passing, Zone of the Enders is like no, that's very esoteric.
I only
dude, the little items, that you pick up to heal yourself are Metatron cubes.
Oh,
damn! You reminded me of something. I wanted to talk about Metatron.
You remind me of the babe?
About Evangelion. This was my running theory of Evangelion. I feel like it's the story of Metatron. Metatron.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier before we started this.
And this is a deep sub. I've been wanting to do an episode on this anyway. Like I've been talking to Jenny about this week about how much I've been just really wanting to talk about Metatron. Last week or the week before, Jenny put the Metatron's Cube post on our Instagram. Remember?
Yeah.
Because she asked me, and I was like, I want you to post that. I'm getting ready to research an episode or whatever. Metatron is I think it's in the Keys of Solomon, which was like an esoteric Arabic text about the biblical prophet Solomon.
Right.
According to the Keys of Solomon, Enoch from the Bible was after he lived his human life and he reached the level of being a sage and like being the scribe of God and communicating with God. The story goes according to the Keys of Solomon and according to the Zohar, which is a mystical Kabbalistic, like Kabbalah.
Yeah.
It's a Kabbalah text.
Okay.
According to the Keys of Solomon and the Zohar, Enoch ascended to become Metatron. Like basically the king of the archangels, the highest archangel. And it's the story of mankind through perfect knowledge and all the Christ consciousness shit, ascending to become an angel, to become a divine being. And I feel like that was the story of Evangelion. He was basically Metatron, bro.
Yeah.
He was like this human that ascended to be a god and he rewrote all of reality. And like, it's pretty crazy. Like I think Metatron is real. I think the archetype of Christ consciousness is also the archetype of Metatron. It's like the story of us ascending to being divine.
Enlightenment, yeah.
Enlightenment. Yeah.
Okay.
That if you had to sum up like kind of like the moral of Evangelion, I think that's perfect.
But he's literally turns into an angel, like Metatron.
Yeah.
It's the story of...
And the movies are 333. Obviously, there's a 111, a 222, but then there's a... What's the last one?
3.0 plus 1.01.
No, 1.0. Wait, yeah.
1.01.
There's a lot of 3 and 1 combination. 1, 3, like the 13th Ava, the first. 1 and 1, 3, or the license plate in the beginning was 331.
Yeah.
There's a lot of combinations of 1 and 3.
I'm like kind of glad they went with that title because like for the longest time before this last movie came out, I thought it was just gonna be called like 4.44 or something. I'm like, that's just like kind of.
We're about to take this to the next level.
Okay.
But Metatron's number is 1133.
Right.
So that you could stretch that number is hinting at Metatron's number. Now, all of these secret societies believe that, like, we're talking real human history. They really believe that Enoch and Hermes Trismegistus were one and the same.
Ooh.
The story of Metatron is the story of Hermes Trismegistus.
Whoa.
It's this ancient being who revealed the wisdom, Emerald Tablets, It was the first ever mystery school, a secret society. Enoch would have been somewhere around 5,000 to 7,000 years ago if that, biblical version of history is true or whatever. And he ascended and he never died a physical death and he went on to become...
Most like biblical and like religious texts all have like very similar stories. So I can definitely see that being something.
I could too.
Yeah.
But that's like in mystical texts.
That's
It's
wild.
It's
cool.
They like Freemasons, Rosicrucians, all of these like prominent esoteric groups, they believe that the biblical Enoch and Hermes Trismegistus are one being.
I never heard that.
And they really believe he ascended to be Metatron.
Wow. Yeah, I did not know that parallel.
But what does it sound like? The phenomenon, they're angels, but it's also our higher selves.
Consciousness, yeah.
It's consciousness. It's just a spectrum of consciousness. And actually, I know I'm rambling here, but Jim Semivan, shout out Jim. He's he's a very high level guy in the CIA, and he's a nice guy, and he wrote a foreword in my dad's book. But anyway, we were at a mutual friend's house one time for Easter, with Jim and his wife and some other friends of my dad's whose names are casually mentioned in the book. And I was talking one-on-one with Jim, and he was explaining to me how he and those in the know, in the Department of Defense and the secret groups in the government see the phenomenon, and they believe that it's a spectrum of consciousness. They believe that there are levels of existence in this reality, and they believe exactly like, it's ascending to next levels of psychic existence.
Yeah.
And he said straight up, like, the lady and entities like her are beings that are so godlike powerful that through thought they can change reality. If they wanted to, they could think a thought and just destroy an entire planet or solar system or whatever. Point being, they believe that way, that it's a spectrum of consciousness ascending through reality.
Would you say like the angels are like, in a sense, like kind of like that in Evangelion, like the light beings?
I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what
they
they're...
are. That if like the light beings of our universe,
it's an allegory, I believe.
Like, let's just destroy stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
Evangelion is an allegory for like phenomenon, the phenomenon and the awakening of consciousness.
Yeah.
And like, I believe these esoteric groups all have the knowledge of the phenomenon, and they know that it's about spiritual or like an esoteric awakening. We all learn the secrets and the mysteries of consciousness. And that's why they're trying so hard to teach us all that it's all aliens, UFOs. We all have to be material, live that life, chasing money, and don't worry about the spiritual, mystical things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy, man. I recommend Evangelion.
We got the official stamp of approval.
Yes. It's on my all-time esoteric.
Yeah, we should draft up a list, like a Bledsoe Says So official list of, and that would make it. So, thanks, Raven.
Yeah,
thanks for coming.
Yes.
Oh yeah, anytime.
This was hella fun.
That was a lot of fun.
We'll do it again.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we got to.
I want to do that Ghost in the Shell episode.
Hey,
you're gonna like that.
Let's do it.
You won't like it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
That'd be sick,
sure.
dude.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. We definitely plan to do, maybe this will wet your whistle. We plan to do Akira and Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
Relatively soon. So.
But we're also going to space them out for those people who don't know anime. But trust me.
Like fucking weebs.
But trust me, this stuff is so deep and spiritual. It's interesting to hear about either way. It's just real deep.
It's interesting to see the symbolism and the visual. Whoa, the DMT-like visuals in Evangelion. And
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
You know how we wrap it up, right? All right. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more, check out our other videos.
And before you go, don't forget to subscribe. See you next week. Peace.